Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 talking to you about the possibilities of Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to your channel. We do have a subscriber goal of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. Also share the video as well. That helps the YouTube channel grow. So I guess it came out Wednesday around 5 p.m., maybe a little bit before 5 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. Oklahoma and Texas was planning to inform the Big 12 that they weren't going to renew their contracts with that conference and go ahead and join the SEC. But now it sounds like it could happen within the next few weeks. My opinion about this, it's gonna happen. I do think Oklahoma and Texas will join the SEC. I don't know necessarily how that will work with the divisions. I think I personally think you probably just have Alabama, Auburn go to the East. You put Missouri in the West, and then Oklahoma and Texas in the West. You also have the Big 12, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the Big 12 is gonna blow up. Um, the Big 12 has made so many mistakes from the whole conference expansion thing, from only having 10 teams in it. Also, that conference isn't going to be, let's say the Big 12 stays and they're at 8 teams, they're going to be looking to add probably 4 teams. I'm thinking probably Cincinnati, Memphis, UCF, and I don't know, maybe to go for South Florida or something, bring South Florida along as well. That's just not going to work. That's not a competitive conference at all. So I think the Big 12 is going to explode. You already heard noise or some news rather that all the other schools in the Big 12 that reside in the state of Texas, which is Baylor, Texas Tech, and TCU, have already contacted the Pac-12. Kansas has contacted the Big Ten. I do think Iowa State is going to end up contacting the Big Ten as well, at least. I think West Virginia is going probably to the ACC most likely. I haven't heard anything about them, but I just think that's a good fit. But you're seeing the whole there should be 4 big conferences of 16. You're seeing that in play, and I think West Virginia, they could join the Big Ten as well, in my opinion, with Kansas. I can see that as well. Um, so if you're the ACC, I think you have one of two options. You go West Virginia, Notre Dame, or you go Cincinnati, or if you can't get Notre Dame, rather, because Notre Dame wants to stay independent. I think that's kind of the big kicker. Does Notre Dame want to stay independent, which I think they do for football at least. But if you can't get Notre Dame, you're at 15 with West Virginia, Cincinnati, Memphis, UCF. That's 18. It wouldn't surprise me if Oklahoma State and West Virginia also join the SEC to make that 18. So I don't think necessarily some of these conferences are going to stop at 16. I think they're going to try for 18. Honestly, it's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. Because I do think Oklahoma State, that's a big question where they're going to go. I haven't heard anything about Oklahoma State or Kansas State. Some people think that Kansas State could be left out. I don't think they will. I think they're going to get into one of these conferences. But it won't surprise me if maybe the Pac-12 tries to go 8 to 18. Maybe the ACC tries to go to 18, the SEC goes to 18, or the Big Ten goes to 18. So this is a huge news. It could happen in the next few weeks. Now, for football purposes, I do not think it's going to be affected this season, but I do think next season, starting in 2022, this is going to be the new normal. And I do think the Big 12 will stay around probably into the expansion of the playoffs in 2023. So I do think in 2022 you might have, give or take, you might have like a 5-team conference if like Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and the I don't know, maybe Iowa State, maybe they add a few teams, a few independents for a year to join that conference. But overall, I do think the Big 12 is done. There's no way they're going to be able to sit there and be stable or even have a legitimate conference if Oklahoma and Texas leave, which I think is a 99.9% chance of happening. So And also another thing with this, I hope they don't still have divisions after this. I'm really against divisions in these conferences. Just have it line up 1 through 16, or I do think one of the conferences are going to go 18, 1 through 18. Um, just have it lined up, and then basically go ahead and play ball, I guess. I mean, I'm fired up about the college football season. I mean, I do think there's maybe a 10% chance that this happens. At least Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC. I do think the other 8 Big 10 school, the other 8 Big 12 schools will probably just stay as a conference for a year. Because maybe they'll just sit there and run for a conference for one season at 18 conference. They'll probably have to figure out how to schedule some non-conference games, which is FCS level, and some independents. But overall, I do think that the Big 12 is going to blow up. This is basically what this means to me. Oklahoma and Texas joined the SEC. Kansas is probably joining the Big 10. They already got on the phone with them. The other 3 Texas schools are probably joining the Big 12. I mean, the Pac 12, excuse me. The other 3 Texas schools are probably joining the Pac 12. And then the questions are Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I would think Iowa State would join the Big 10, personally, since they're kind of in their footprint geographically. But who knows? They could go ahead and join the ACC or the Pac-12. I don't think they'll join the SEC. And then Oklahoma State, Kansas State, I don't know who the hell they join. I think it's either the Big 10 or Pac-12. I don't think it's the ACC. And then Oklahoma State, I think that could be anybody with the exception of the ACC. I still think the SEC might try to snag West Virginia and Oklahoma State. The ACC is going to at least try to snag West Virginia. I think Iowa State could be in play as well. The Big Ten, I think, will be open to any of them, basically. And then the Pac-12, I think, will be open to any of them with the exception of West Virginia. I also think UCF, Memphis, and Cincinnati out of the and maybe even a Houston or East Carolina. I know that's or South Florida. I know those last two are kind of funny, but those schools before this decade were really good football, at least football programs for the conferences they played in. I think all those schools could be considered, but I do think at the end it will be the top four between Memphis, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. And then I think Boise State's going to be considered as well out of the Mountain West. I do think Boise State's going to the Pac-12 out of this. I do. I know some of the Pac-12 fans will sit there and say, "Oh, but they don't have the academic requirements." Yeah, that doesn't matter anymore, guys. The whole academic requirements thing. There's studies showing that grades in courses in college are going lower and lower by the year, so it's not going to matter anyways. 20 years from now, the uh, the academic standards. But just want to get my 2 cents on this. I originally did not like it, but I do like it if the Big 12 blows up, and which I think it will. And I do think I think Notre Dame has a chance to join the conference as well, even though I think they're going to be stubborn about it. But we'll see. If Notre Dame joins the conference, I think it's going to be the ACC. That's just my opinion because they're already kind of aligned with the ACC right now. But it's going to be interesting to see. I think this year, I think at worst, I think you see an 18 Big 12, and then in 2022, the Big 12 will probably be gone for the most part. Maybe you have a few teams ride as an independent for a year, or even maybe like a 5 or 6 team conference. But um, I think by 2023, when the new 12 team playoff is going to be going into shape, which I do think it's going to be the inaugural year of the 12 team playoff. I think there's going to be no more Big 12. You're going to have 4 conferences, Power 4 conferences with at least 16 teams. It won't surprise me some go to 18. And basically, yeah, another team to consider out of the Mountain West is Hawaii. I do think Hawaii may have a shot to move up. But anyways, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. Just want to give you my 2 cents about it. I think you're heading to 16 to 18 team conferences. I think the SEC could stay alone at 16, even though I do think they are going to try and make a play for West Virginia, Oklahoma State. We'll see. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to your channel. Greatly appreciate you to do that. McD the Beast signing off.